How are we doing today? Oh my goodness, it is Wednesday and we are geared up for another live episode of, well, I'll introduce that in a minute. Anyways, okay, so I hope everybody's doing good today and thank you for joining me. If you do not know who I am or why you are seeing my face, I am Yolanda and I am locating cozy and this is a broad chat. I never know which way I'm supposed to be. No, the other way. Nope. Okay. Anyways, this is a broad chat. Hey y'all, how you doing? Thank you for joining me. Appreciate you. So today, I usually like go through. You know what? I do need to go back and start doing this again. So let me do this. Okay. Please do make sure that you like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you'll know whenever I have something intelligent to say. Okay, there you go. So today I have a special guest and I'm really excited because she's coming back. This is like my third time now interviewing this strange person, but we like to hang out sometimes. And so I'll go ahead and bring her back on. And that would be my wonderful favorite youngest child. This is Keila. Hi Keila, how are you doing?
Hi, I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. We have to act like we don't talk like every single day. Okay. Every day. And she's right down the street from me
Well,
every day.
like at least once a day.
Yeah. Yeah. Once a day. Yeah. It's not too much. Once a day, we just kind of check in. Hey, girl, what you doing? What you working on? How you feeling? All that good stuff. And then, we proceed. Yeah. Okay. So, anyways, before we get started asking all the wonderful questions, I just wanted to come on and just say hello to those that are joining early and on time. Thank you. Hello, Aileen. How you doing? Thank you for joining. I appreciate you. And hello, Junquette. How are you doing? Nice to see you. Thank you so much for joining. And so little secret, first of all, I wanted to say that, okay, today with this interview with you, with my daughter Keila, it's supposed to be my, I guess, season finale, right? Because then I was supposed to
Oh,
like take off like maybe a month or two just to get some things and not do lives during that time because well, I got stuff to do. Yeah. Okay. And then also I need a break, but not saying I wouldn't be posting still on YouTube or on social media. It's just sometimes not doing the live. Well, on this past Sunday, I was just going to upload because I was recording with another young lady that lives in Paris, and we were recording, and I was having the absolute worst connection issues. Oh my gosh, the absolute worst. Anyways, um, we're gonna actually like post that interview this Thursday, and I post not Thursday. Let me try that again on Sunday, and I post those as lives there, so it's very interactive, and you will enjoy. So, and then
okay.
after that. Um, I'm supposed to go on a season finale, for a month or two to get ready for some major life events. But also, I don't know. I might jump on and go live again, and who knows? We'll see. Anyways, as you come in, please do
Way to
uh,
commit.
half-assing it all the way. Okay, like I may not. You'll still see me. Okay. Um, but yeah, just kind of taking it, day by day and seeing because yeah, I don't want to go through like not going live withdrawals. So we'll see. Anyways, as you come in, please do make sure that you say hello. Let us know where you're at and what you're doing. Are you on your lunch break or are you getting ready to go to bed because you're like in, I don't know, Australia? I don't know. Or getting ready to get up. That could be. Anyways, so before I start asking all the questions I have, interview questions, I have a couple of questions like, what's going on in your world? Tell us, Keila, what is going on in your world right now?
Oh, what's not going on in my world? That is a big question. Well, I first like to apologize for this that's going on in my world.
I'm like,
I
oh,
am, yeah. Oh, you can see the colors really well, actually. Here, by the way, which one do you like the most?
I'm still down with the third one. I told you, the one
Okay.
that you like
Anyway,
the
so
least.
I am, well, I guess first of all, I am what, 7 months pregnant? and I'm in my nesting phase, is what I just realized. And so we are picking colors for my office. Ironically, no, I am not decorating my daughter's room because it's pretty much together. And but my office like desperately needs, I don't even want to call it a makeover because it's never been made up like that. It just needs to be redone and painted, furniture and everything. I spent way too much time in here to not have a decent office. And the office is way too big for me to not be utilizing the space the way I should. So yeah, trying to pick a color. We'll start with this one as one, all the way down to five if people want to vote on which color they like. Uh
I okay. Okay. I'm sorry. Go ahead, because I got stuff to say. Like people are agreeing with me. Anyways, go for it. What were you saying?
uh I don't even have, I couldn't even see the comments. Let me see.
Okay, I'm gonna show them. But first of all, uh Jinquette, and I'm hoping I'm saying that right, sweetheart. She likes the third one. She likes the one that I like.
Yeah. I like that color too. I just don't know if it's like office adulty. I was actually thinking of that color for my daughter's room if I ever
Okay.
paint there or do some sort of decoration there. Um, but yeah, I might not even go with any of these colors, but whatever happens, I'm painting this weekend. So it's happening.
It's happening. Hey Christine, how you doing, love?
Hi, Christine.
Oh, okay. So then Aileen says the third or fourth, depending on what mood you're going for.
Yeah, I like green. I've been thinking about the fourth one down too. The one that I had actually chosen was the fifth one down.
Mhm.
I put number one next to it to see if they would work together, but I think maybe it's too safe. And then I think that over time I'm gonna get bored with it. And these
Okay.
happy faces and everything else is for my daughter, by the way.
And so I told Kayla that I like the top one, but I like the top one if it was just going to be. Did I say like if the three walls and then you would have one accent wall? I think that's what I said. Yeah.
Yeah, and we do have an accent wall idea, and I was actually thinking about using that color for one of them, but yeah, there's a lot. We could have a whole conversation just about the thought
Yeah.
process
We'll
I'm going
see.
through with that. But I will share that process on my YouTube channel
Yeah.
actually, uh, once we finally figure it out, because I think it's worth sharing.
Yes, because it's like I was totally like for the opposite color and the one that she liked. I was like, oh, no, I don't like it for this reason stuff. And then she was just like, hmm, well, maybe not. So yeah, I just should have shut up because I
Yeah.
need to paint my place. And stuff. And yes, and she says, Junket says, yeah, choose the color that makes you the most happy. Yes. And what in your
That's
husband, yeah.
true.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good point. I
It
don't think
says,
when you say that, I don't think it ever make me like super happy. The first one makes me kind of happy. I don't know, my finger's
mm,
supposed to go for that. It makes me
there you
happy.
go.
I don't know why it's gray, but
It
the
looks
first one makes
actually
me
it's a
feel
lot prettier, like it's more vibrant. When we were talking on WhatsApp yesterday, it's more vibrant to me.
mm,
That top color is.
oof.
So
Anyways,
anyway.
I've spent a lot of time and energy on that, so that is primarily what's going on in my world.
Okay, so what's going on in my world? Um, besides okay, off topic, on topic, what's going on is this damn squeaky chair that I'm sitting in right now. I didn't realize how much it was squeaking until after I had just finished the recording on Sunday. And I was like, this chair is making a lot of noise. So now I'm like sitting really, really still because I'm like, I don't want it to make no noise. Anyways, it came with the apartment. It's comfortable. It gets the job done. But I'm just realizing that it probably needs some WD or something in here. So, anyways, but besides that, what's going on in my world for real is today, I actually took the time to update my LinkedIn. So this is a big thing for me. I mean, I had updated it. I want to say in maybe 4 or 5 months ago. About five. Yeah, it's May now. Wow, it's been a while. So it's been like maybe November when I last updated it. So, anyways, I did it, and I updated the headline. I updated the about me. I did all of that because I just wanted to. And I actually updated my background, my background image. Yeah, the cover image. And
Mm.
I updated that, and I was proud of myself. So yeah, um, that's something that I needed to do. But what's sad is it just seems like whenever I do some things that I just go down a rabbit hole no matter what. And it just seems to take all day. Well, I mean, I was doing other things on LinkedIn also, but yeah, I that's what's going on. I updated my LinkedIn. I'm proud of myself. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I need to do that.
It felt good. And actually, and also the other thing, along with that, I was just telling you is using, because I have LinkedIn Premium, and using that, and not just, having some membership, or access to a membership that you're not using and being wasteful.
Mhm.
I actually use that to make connections, the connections that I needed on LinkedIn, with just I think with the connection option, you just have like maybe 300 characters that you could say whatever you need to say.
Yeah,
So yeah, I've created like just a little quick like, hey, this is why I'm connecting with you. So yeah, I think you can do, I can't remember, they said you can do up to 20 a day. And it is very manual and intensive, but I can actually go in and select who I want to connect with, and they can see like why I'm connecting with them because I know your industry. Make the
yeah.
moves.
With premium, it still has a limit on how many you can do a day?
Yes, supposedly it does. But again, you're doing it so manually, like you're looking like, but it was cool because I was able to put in the industry and then say, I want the general managers for this industry. And it gave me like
Mhm.
all of them. Now, of course, you don't have their email, so you have to go in and see like a lot of them work for my former company. I don't want to connect with them, but it stays
Yes,
in the same realm. Like these are the people I know with power. So say that
yeah,
you want to work with just CPAs. Um, it'll like give you that. And if you have the premium, you can actually make those connections. Use them wisely. Don't try to spam people. But yeah, so I did that today. I'm proud of myself.
nice.
Okay. And then the other thing that I like to ask, um, because I feel like it's very, very important, is how are you locating your cozy? What have you done that was just about you, that was to bring joy, peace, pleasure, whatever to yourself, that was just for you, even if it was like a hot 2-minute yoga sitting, downward dog style, I don't know, or if you went I said, went on a shopping spree or read a book or whatever it was. What have you done?
Um, well, on one hand, I'm actually working really hard to have my cozy during my maternity leave. So there's that, which is not immediate satisfaction, but it's really important because I really want to make sure, everything is aligned so I don't have to worry about anything and I can just like release all of my business responsibilities while I'm on maternity leave. But for more immediate satisfaction, I have been going to an art class
Oh
and
yeah.
learning how to draw, which I don't have one artistic bone, or I have not. I should stop saying that because that's no longer true. I have at least like a little bit of an artistic bone at this point. But yeah, I've never been a really, really visually talented person with anything like putting anything together visually. It's just not been my thing. And so it's been really nice. It's not
Okay.
easy. Let me tell you that it's not easy. I do leave there sometimes like, okay, I can take a breath. But it's so satisfying when you complete like you've made progress in the work that you're doing.
Okay. Well, that's nice. She was asking me if I had wanted to join the class too, but it was I think I was getting ready to go and I was going to be in Madrid and do some other things, and I was like, well, that doesn't make any
Mhm.
sense, but and plus I'm very intimidated because I have a flashback to when I was like 13 years old and I had an art teacher that I created I drew this woman and I was so proud of myself. And we had gotten this dog, and the dog, one day we left and the dog had separation anxiety and tore up my picture that I drew, and
Oh
I was just
no.
scarred after that. Yeah, the dog tore it up. I was like, I love you and now I hate you. But anyways, yes, I would like to do that. But yeah, I'm gonna leave that with her. I'm not ready
Okay,
yet.
I love you, but I have decided that that's my space.
Okay, you invited me.
I know. It's funny. I invited you, and I invited Caroline, which is one of my closest friends here. But now I'm like, oh, that's mine.
It's mine. It's all mine.
So you can go another day.
Yes. No, I don't want to share my space with you either. Okay.
I mean, that's fine.
So, okay. So let me just give a little insight here. I remember, so since we're gonna do this, I remember like years ago, I think like you had just left home when you had just moved out on your own. And so it was just me, myself, and me at home. And I was like trying to find things to do. Um, and so it was a Mother's Day, and I found this group that they go hiking, like flatland hiking in Houston, like every month or
Mhm.
so. And so for Mother's Day, my daughters were busy. They were doing their thing. They were either working or whatever. So I had decided to go and find myself something to do. And I went hiking with this group. And my daughters at different times had called me. It's like, "Well, where are you at?" And I'm like, "Oh, I'm out hiking." "Why didn't you invite me?" I'm like, "Wait a minute. I'm trying to find things so I'm not bothering you guys so much, trying to find my own things and not be dependent on, what are my kids doing?" It's like they're grown. You have to let go. Yeah. They at that time were kind of both upset because I didn't mention it. I don't think that they necessarily wanted to go, but it was the fact that I didn't even think to invite them. I'll never forget that. It made me feel good. And then also, I was like, what's wrong with y'all? Okay.
I remember Ebony said that she went eventually with you hiking and she
Yeah.
hated it.
Yes. Yes. And she never wanted to do it again. Yeah. That was horrible. Okay. We were sweaty and feet were hurting. Yeah. That was rough.
That's
Yes.
hilarious.
So how am I locating my cozy? So actually, I was thinking, and again, I always ask this question, and sometimes I'm just not well equipped, and I don't think I have one. Okay, take that back. Yeah, I've been walking. Yeah, me and Bayesian Alpha, we've been like doing some walks, and that's been good. And before you know it, because we have to walk to meet each other at the specific location. There's no, and we meet like early in the morning, so we walk and then we meet. So it's like maybe a half a mile to get to the meetup destination, and then we walk, and then coming back. So like we went walking Monday, and we finished it. Well, it seemed like we finished kind of early, but by the time I finished walking and everything, I had done 4 miles, and I was like, "Oh, okay, well, that's good." And then I still had to go and, run some errands that day, so I think I walked another, like, mile and a half. So, yeah, it just feels so good to walk sometimes we got together Mother's Day. Yes, Mother's Day in Spain was this past
Mhm.
Sunday, and we got together for, lunch, and then we just walked around for a while, and we ran into Beijing and Alpha Christine while we were out walking. But it feels so good
Small
just to
city.
be walking, yeah, and not trying to
Yeah.
necessarily get someplace. That's a win. That's locating my cozy. I'll take that. Yeah.
Walking, who knew?
Yeah, really, who knew? So with that, um, Kayla, you've been on here a couple of times and always love to hear and you share your insight and your experiences from a different perspective. So please do, for those that don't know, again, Kayla is my favorite youngest child, and she lives here in Zaragoza, Spain. And she has her own place. People always like, so you live with your daughter and your son-in-law? No, no. I mean, I've stayed with them before I got my place, but no. But please do share. Give a little insight, please, about you before we get started.
Yeah, so like she said, my name is Kayla. I've been here for since 2016, so coming up on 10 years. This year will be 9 years in September. And I have done everything here. Honestly, I got here when I was 26. I just graduated college. And so I feel like I've done all my adulting here in Spain at this point. I established a career, I established a relationship to a marriage to a family, and everything else will be done here. So uh, I just like to share my insight on my experience because I was desperately looking for anyone to share that with me for the different life things I've gone through to get that perspective from someone, and I couldn't find it. And so I just think it's valuable for us to share our experiences because somebody out there is looking for it.
Yes.
Career wise, I am a virtual assistant and I'm also a virtual assistant coach. And I've just taken the experience of establishing a business here, establishing a career here, which is not easy. I think that's probably one of the hardest things getting into a relationship wasn't that hard. Making a baby's not that hard. But trying to figure out how to have a career in a different country is hard. There's different red tape that you have to go through. And I know here in Spain, for a lot of people who already have established careers, a lot of times even just trying to find a job within that field is very hard because they require you to take these tests that are like far and few between. I think they host the test in my city every 2 years, and you have to prepare for it for like a year, and it's like taking the bar exam or something, but for every single profession that you can think of here. So you know, it's really limiting if you're someone who's come from a different country and you are established or whatever it is, it just feels like you have to start from either square one, meaning like going to university here and start like you're 18 years old, or it feels like you have limited options, like what they kind of have pigeonholed immigrants into working in here. So I figured out a way
So,
to.
like, what field? Like you said, like almost every field, because it's like I think, like, of course, doctor and all that stuff. You think about in the U.S. when like the established people from another country come into the U.S. and all of a sudden they're cab drivers or something, or they have a store
Yeah.
because
Mhm.
to get qualified as to go to school, and if they were a doctor or attorney or whatever it was, it would be too many hoops to try to go and prove that you have that working knowledge. So, are you speaking on the
Yeah.
level of like bachelor and master degrees, qualifications that you have to go back and get qualified again for, or something like
So even for teachers, I think teachers is maybe one of the most
that's
common
common?
ones. A lot of people who come here, they want to be able to use a lot of them are teachers because I feel like teachers in the US aren't appreciated often, and
Mhm.
getting to another country is a great idea. But the issue becomes that if you want to be a teacher here in the public school system, you can't, there's not an easy way to enter in. You kind of just have to start over, unless you are with a private, you can get jobs in, after school activities, or academies, things like that. But if you wanted to be a teacher in the quote unquote highest paying sector, which would be in the public education system here, yes, that is the highest paying here, generally speaking, then you would have to go through, it's called the oposiciones, which are the tests that you have to take. And it's like taking a bar exam. And it's just a lot, as opposed to just getting your education validated with the government here. It doesn't work that way. So I'm sure that's the case with a lot of other fields, but that's what I'm most familiar with, and that affects people that I know. So
Okay.
accounting, I think, is another one. Administrative work, that sort of thing. You would have to get certified through the oposiciones. So there's not like a lot of like free will. I guess. I feel like in the United States, you can really kind of move how you want to, and you can kind of establish your own career, and you can get a job places just because you have the experience, or you got the degree or whatever. But here it's not that easy for a lot of us.
Okay. Okay. So once you were, I guess, at the end of, because you came here as an auxiliary to teach. Is it teach English, or was it a classroom assistant, or is that basically all in the same?
It's a teacher assistant, but it depends on what the teacher wants, but generally speaking, I was teaching a lesson about something. So I'm trying to like get this glare out of my eyes by turning to the right angle. Okay.
Oh,
Or
okay.
out of my glasses. But yeah, teachers assistants might just be there to like walk around and support the students as the teacher is teaching. But oftentimes with language assistance, you are doing a lesson plan that you've created and working with the kids on that thing. So I was teaching.
Okay. All right. And so, but then as you were, it was what, at the end of 2022? Wait a minute, it was 2021? What? Okay.
I don't know
When
what
did
you're
you
about to say.
start your, yeah, I'm trying to think. Okay. When did you start to transition and really say, okay, this virtual assistance is as far as helping other businesses run and and addressing their needs. How did that come about again? I know you've shared this before in another interview, but we're gonna act brand new on this
Mhm.
part.
Yeah, so since I got here, I've been doing some version of virtual assisting through like Upwork, just like grabbing a little job here or there. You get paid for my language assistant teaching job. I was getting paid like 700 euros a month, which was fine to like sustain me. I don't know if that's still the case. I don't think that's the case anymore here. I don't think 700 is going to do it, but it was fine to sustain me. But I just wanted something else as well. And so, yeah, I was doing that, just not honestly not taking it seriously. It was a side hustle, barely a hustle, just a side thing to do.
Mhm.
And then I think it was, I would say it was 2021, honestly, around the time that my daughter was born or after she was born is when I was really like, oh, okay, so like I need like a real path, which some people, good on you for having that figured out before you had kids or like before you turned 31 years old. But I did not. I was kind of just going with the flow and things were going great.
Mhm.
And then this new thing pops up, my baby. I realized, okay, so now my needs have changed and I got to get real here. And how do I do this? How do I have a career in Spain? Like, where do I go to do that? Do I need to start school over again? Do I need to go through the process of getting my degree homologado, which means like getting it validated as a valid degree here, which can take up to 2 years to do? I just didn't know what path to go on. And this is literally while I'm on break from me working as a virtual assistant. So I was sitting on the terrace of my flat thinking, drinking my coffee and getting paid for it. And I was like, what can I do to make money? And I realized, I came to the magical realization that, oh, I'm doing it. I'm just not doing it seriously. And if I just do this thing, if I just commit to this thing that I'm already doing in a serious way and basically change from being a side hustler to a businesswoman, that I can have it here. I can have the things that I want here for myself and my family. And that's
Okay.
how it began.
That's how it started. Now let's see how it's going. And so there's been this evolution of the elite VA. So what were you as it started to grow and you're like the solopreneur, did you change like some structures or offerings as far as what kind of services you provided?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, at first when I got here, I was on Upwork, so I was getting paid like nothing. I don't even remember how much it was, but Upwork takes a big chunk of what you get paid
Mhm.
anyway. So I don't know. I think I was like, because I was doing private English classes as well, where I go to someone's house and teach them English or whatever. And so for that, I was getting paid 15 euros an hour, and I decided, okay, well, I just need to make sure I come out 15 an hour. So whatever it was 15 an hour is what I was getting paid.
Mhm.
And then I think, yeah, stayed at 15. I think we actually went down to 12, but I was working more hours as opposed to like the few little hours here and there. Once I had like a client and they were paying me, yeah, I think it was like 12 or something like that. This is all still in my like side hustle phase or whatever. This is also post COVID, or like I was still writing off of like
Other
unemployment from
financial
COVID.
resources.
So,
Yeah.
so I
Yeah, other
wasn't doing
financial
bad.
resources.
um, but then once I decided, okay, this is not a side hustle anymore. I'm a businesswoman. I sat down and I did my pricing. I did my offer. I figured out what all this is about. I compared with other virtual assistants that were taking their business seriously, like as an actual business owner. And I figured out pricing that works for me. Um, and it is no longer 12 euros an hour. Worth
That
it.
was like just something that was like your side hustle rating, your like business owner. This is, how I survive. And yeah, that's a
Yeah,
completely different rate. Yeah. And plus,
yeah,
you know more about processes and expectations and what the type of service that you want to deliver instead of someone just saying, I need you to do this little bit. And the more the value of what you do, I think.
yeah, absolutely. And also, when you take if you're working, so if you are a business owner and you hire a virtual assistant who is a side hustler versus someone who is a business owner and this is their career, the quality of the work that you get is going to be different. The quality of the work that I was doing as a someone with a side hustle versus the quality of work that I do as a business owner is vastly different, and I charge for that. I charge for how seriously I take my work, because it's going to show in how the work gets done for my clients.
So, since you have started, what is something that it's going to be a twofold question because I don't know how to just ask one question, but what is something that you've taught that you're most proud of what you've learned? Like a process or something that you didn't know anything about it in business that was like, oh, this is great to know, transferable skills.
Yeah, in my career as a virtual assistant or
Mhm.
in my um I've learned so much. But I think the skills that I value the most is me being able to create systems for people and organize the layout of how things should run. So operations, I guess that would be, I can tell, I know like where you're going to find your clients, where you want them to find you, and how to organize it all the way down to where they pay you the first time. And then also stretch it out to how, what their interaction is going to be with you all the way through their journey of working with you. I really enjoy that process. So that's probably my favorite as far as that's like a hard skill. I think for like transferable skills, I would say um, knowing my value and being able to to communicate that with people in a way that gets me the client. So
Okay. So then on the flip side, what is something that you have been trying to learn or the most challenging skill set that you're like, this sucks. I don't like this. Like I do it. I might figure it out one day, but either you haven't mastered it or it's still a work in progress.
social media. Social media is
Girl.
for the birds. I hate it. I hate it.
Yes.
And it's so annoying
As
because
I
I have
sit
so
here
many
on
things that I want to
YouTube live.
share.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. It's like I have so many things that I want to share with people, and it's not about, I mean, I guess people have different reasons for being on social media. I'm not trying to be a superstar on social media, but there's just things I want to share with people. And I feel really passionate about doing that on so many aspects of my life. And so being a YouTuber would be really great, or being, on Instagram, that would be really great. But I just do not like it. And so I am not saying that I'm going to get better at it. I have finally resigned with the idea that I need to delegate that. And so I've hired a social media manager. I have the stories, I have the stories and things that I want to tell people and communicate with my audience. And so I tell her that, and then she holds me responsible, and then she posts it. So, uh,
Wow.
yeah,
I do want to eventually, I've already told Kayla this. I'm like, I do want to eventually probably hire your social media person because it is a struggle. I was up last night. I'm trying to connect. So I finally made my Instagram into a creator account from personal to
mhm.
creator. But it's still like when I'm trying to use either Opus Clips or StreamYard to just directly publish my content, my little clips, it's still like IG keeps saying that my IG is not it's not like they can't find it as a creator account. You can't just post like scheduled postings on your personal IG account. And so
That's
I
so
was up
annoying.
until probably 12:30 this morning because I was trying to figure out how to take my Locating Cozy Facebook page, and it's connected with my IG, and then have that where I can just schedule everything. And I couldn't, and I was, yeah, it's so stressful. And I know
Yeah,
somebody else, if I just hired somebody, they would be like, click, click, boom, done. Here you go, girl. And I would just be
yeah.
feeling some kind of way.
Yeah. I mean, that's been the task that it's like I know that I could thrive so much more in some of the projects that I'm working on and the goals that I have if I just did my social media and it like kept me up at night. And honestly, I feel like in business, you have to make the decision on whether you feel so passionately that you need to be able to do this thing yourself, or if you're wasting your time and wasting the potential growth of your business and success by holding on to that dream.
Yeah.
And yeah, social media
Yeah, it's
was
time to
definitely
delegate.
something
It's,
that I need
yeah,
to
I need to get to that point where I need to just say, "Girl, delegate and be done," because you're stressing yourself out. You are wasting time. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, I'm
Yeah,
a work in
wasting
progress.
time.
Because on the flip side, I also it's like I know I'm wasting time. I know it's like, girl, send that to somebody else, pay somebody to either do it or, they can show you how. But I do
Mhm.
also feel so accomplished when I figure it out. But at some point, you just have to say, walk away, stop it, just stop it,
Mm.
and let somebody else handle it for you and have that peace of mind.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it is satisfying to accomplish things, but are you gonna do it again? And then again and again and again? That's the way she's
Yeah,
like, I know how to do social media. I just don't wanna think about how to do social media. I have all these other things that I'm thinking about in my head, and that's just taking up space. So
yeah.
yeah, you gotta
And the
choose your
thing
route.
is, I am the type of person that I will pay for convenience. I will absolutely pay for convenience. But yeah, it's just certain things I'm still like, I don't want to give that up yet. So yeah, I'll learn. Yeah,
Yeah.
as I'm banging my head, I'm gonna learn. Yeah, and that's why we'll get the name of your social media person soon. Okay. Y'all, if you have any questions, I know, it's like I'm live right now, then you'll, or somebody will catch it on the replay. If you have questions in the replay during when watching it on the replay, please do post those comments below. Also, let me just go ahead and if anyone is interested, I'm going to post this a couple of times and the information is also in the description. But if you are interested in getting more information about, we're going to talk in a bit about Keila helping other people learn how to become, giving them insight on how to become a virtual assistant so they can actually have their own, creating their own sources of income and services. But
Mhm.
if you would like to schedule some time, I'm going to go ahead and put this in the comments. If you'd like to schedule some time with Keila, here is her information. So yes, please do check that out
Thank
because
you.
yeah, she has insight and she's more organized than I will ever be. Okay, keeping it together. And so in a little glimpse, I know that every day is different, but can you give an idea of what your organization in an average day might look like? Or maybe an average week? I don't know which one is better.
Yeah, my days are first of all, they're flexible. So it depends on what I want to prioritize. In the morning I take my daughter to school, and then I have a really comfy setup here, and I definitely got the long stick between me and my husband, and I don't know how this happened. But I take my daughter to school, and then I'm home alone until I pick her up, and then in the evening is actually when I work. So that means that my husband, he works in the morning and then he's actually with my daughter in the evening. The reason for that is because most of all my clients are in the US, and I find it way more efficient for me to just work in like a 9 to 5 schedule that aligns with their schedule. I have tried to, do the schedule where I'm doing all my work in the morning, but I still end up doing work in the evening and needing to be present then, which means that I'm either half-assing it with like family stuff or being present with my family because I'm getting these messages that I need to respond to, or I can just totally be off in the morning and then on the clock when I need to be on the clock. So
Yeah.
that's how it's worked out. Um, and yeah, my schedule is really in the mornings. I generally have honestly, I do a little bit of work then. So usually I'm working on my business in the morning if I'm doing work, and then I'm working in my business in the evenings.
Okay.
Yeah. And then of course in the mornings or the first half of the day I try and do stuff for me. Like right now, a lot of my mornings are spent sleeping. So not gonna lie there. I'm
Yeah.
tired. This baby that I'm carrying is just it's amazing how I don't want to say I don't know how people do it because it's like that's kind of annoying, but like people who are pregnant and doing like physical labor of any type, working at a grocery store or anything, or just having to deal with people like work going into an office. Oh, none of that sounds like fun, but I just can't stop sleeping. So
Yep, you
My
gotta listen
routine
to your
now
body.
is good nap. A good nap and breakfast, and then preparing lunch, getting my kid, and then when my husband gets home, I come to the office and get to work in my business.
Yeah, I pretty much know, like, because a lot of times what'll happen is I will call because I'll know, like, well, she just my granddaughter off at school, so it's like, oh, let me go ahead and call Kayla, and we can, chit chat and everything. She doesn't answer. I'm like, right now she's pregnant. Yeah, she's like, I'm sleeping. She'll reach out to me like at 12:30. She's like, okay, I just woke up. Okay.
Yeah. It's literally like I drop her off at school. I wake up, get her ready for school, drop her off, and I come sit down. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna be productive. And then as soon as I sit down, I'm like, oh no. And I clock out. That being said, I also tend to, just from my own bad habits, I tend to work very late into the night. I don't know, my brain activates as soon as my daughter goes to bed. And so I
Yeah,
tend to work until like 2 o'clock in the morning, which is probably the reason I'm tired and need a nap at 9 o'clock in the morning. So it
fair enough.
balances out.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Just real quick, Jess did have a question. She says, Kayla, what advice do you have for a high schooler considering university in Spain? Hmm.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny that you asked that because I literally just ran into a girl who heard me and my friend speaking in English when I went out to lunch, and she's a junior in high school in Austin, Texas. Um, yeah, and I was like, "What are you doing here by yourself?"
She was in Spain? She was here in Spain, in Zaragoza?
Yeah, she's doing a year abroad.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
Yeah, and she was saying before she said like what her age is or whatever, she was saying that the program that she's with only offered Zaragoza. And the reason for that, Madrid and Barcelona are too much for high schoolers. Like, and they actually do this vice versa too. So when people do study abroad programs, I think they generally try and put them in places that are not like super metropolitan because they tend to have higher crime rates. So I would definitely start by considering the city that they're going to. Zaragoza is a really good city to like really immerse yourself in Spain culture. Instead of like when you go to Madrid, you you can literally just live in American culture if you wanted.
Yeah,
Uh, and so like the smaller cities, maybe like the biggest city in every region besides Catalonia, which is the state that Barcelona is in, or Madrid, the state and the city are the same. Um, I would suggest those. Sevilla is touristic, but it is very interesting for kids, or it's very like like quintessential, like stereotypical Spanish stuff is going to be in Sevilla. But there's also other cities that might be a better option just because they're not as touristic. So my advice would be to consider the cities that you're going to, um, and so many other things. But yeah, that's a good place to start.
I was just thinking when I saw that question, there was a young lady, oh God, I can't remember who I was speaking to, but anyways, they were Americans that came to Spain, but they were going to different regions. They were all like, I guess, schoolmates, but they were going to different regions, and some went to Sevilla, one was in Madrid, and one went somewhere else. I can't remember where. And then when they met up like 6 weeks or 2 months or whatever later, the ones that were in Sevilla had actually were able to pick up the Spanish a lot quicker for some reason. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
why. But they said that because there's the different dialects, and for some
Mm-hmm.
reason, the Spanish that was being spoken down in Sevilla, it was easier for them to pick up on and understand versus, I guess, like here in
Hmm.
Zaragoza. But yeah, I'm I'm getting there. Okay, I'm getting there. But
That's
yeah,
funny.
yeah,
I don't know if I agree with that because I feel like when I hear people in Southern Spain speak, I don't know what they're saying at all. So I don't know, but that's interesting that that worked for them. I'm curious
yeah.
about
I
why.
mean, it was just something that somebody was telling me, but they were saying that they just noticed that the ones that, and it may have been because I think maybe the girl that was like in Madrid was still having that option of the American
Hmm.
language, yeah,
Yeah,
of English, yeah,
speaking
and so,
English.
so she
Yeah,
wasn't really forced into it. That could be why.
yeah. She being more immersed. It's so easy as an immigrant anywhere, or maybe not for every immigrant, but as an American immigrant or an English speaking immigrant, I would say that it's pretty easy to find yourself in communities
Hmm.
that can just kind of like remove all of the Spanish culture or the culture from the country that you're in. So don't do
Yeah.
that if you want to actually get something out of it.
Want immersion? Go to Sevilla. Okay. Go to
Yeah.
I mean Zaragoza. Yeah, is also I'm pretty. I mean, you have options. Do you think that Sevilla has like is more? You would be more immersed in Sevilla versus in Zaragoza?
No, I think he'd be more immersed in Zaragoza because Sevilla is a touristic city. There's
Okay.
Madrid, Barcelona, Sevilla.
Valencia.
I think maybe in Valencia you might be more immersed than you would be in like Sevilla out of the big
Okay.
cities. But they also speak a different. They also speak Catalan there, or like a version of Catalan there. I don't know
Hmm.
how like intense that is. But if you're in a town outside of the city of Valencia, you find that same thing in Catalonia, which is the state of where Barcelona is. If you go to
Hmm.
the towns outside of Barcelona, they're gonna try and speak to you in Catalan. And if you have some Spanish, you can kind of pick it up. Like I have no problem like getting around, but it'll throw you
I
off
would
if
be
you're trying to learn
lost.
Spanish.
I would be
Definitely throw you
lost.
off.
It just says Coruna and
Colombia,
Valencia has a
Valencia.
program. Plan and
Hmm.
come with her. Oh, this is for. Oh, okay. I can relocate my cozy. There you go, girl. Okay. Now,
Honestly, when I met that girl today, I was thinking I can not imagine like sending my child to a different country, like my 16-year-old
you
child
were
to a different
26 and
country.
I was about losing my mind. Okay.
Yeah. And I'm just like, I guess this is what we need to be prepared for because especially here, because they do a lot of exchange programs in high school
Yeah.
here. So it's very common. But those actually both seem like really good places for her, A Coruña and Valencia. And yeah, why not? Even if you're like let her do the program and be in her own space or whatever. You could even go to a different city because the country's the size of Texas. So you could go to whatever city you want and like give her her freedom but still be close by. That's
Yeah.
that's
The
probably my
access can
plan.
still be there. Yeah. You can still have
Yeah.
access to her if you're like maybe in another part of Spain doing your own thing. But
Yeah.
it's only a train ride away. Yeah.
Yeah. That might be a
It's
good solution. I know
yeah.
it's scary. Oof, so scary.
Now that you have kids, you understand because at first, yeah, of course, that's just the evolution of any relationship, of any parent-child relationship. Literally, it's like the child is constantly trying to get away, and you're like, as a parent, you want to hold on because you're so scared of whatever they might discover in the real world of, losing that whatever innocence. And yeah, but then once you actually have the kids, you're like, oh, I get it now. I I see,
Yeah,
but we
having your
still
own
have
kids
to let
opens
go.
your eyes up to everything. It makes you kind of re-question, like rethink things. Like, yeah, it's interesting. It's a process.
So we're going to go back to the VA business. I do want to get some more information about your journey as a virtual assistant and the services that you offer to your clients and to people that are actually interested in becoming uh, starting their own virtual assistance business. But I did want to go ahead and touch base with you on we now know last time I interviewed you, I couldn't you know no, we didn't say that you were pregnant then. We were just
Oh,
kind of like
yeah.
keeping quiet and just like don't say nothing. So yeah, now anyways, the gig is up. The jig is up. So how are you doing? How is Lollipop, my Lollipop, doing with the being a big sister? How's everything changed in your world with the expectations?
Oh, well, pregnancy sucks, which is crazy because like one of the feelings that I had when we decided to have a second kid was that I was like missing being pregnant. And now I'm like, who was that girl? I mean, I was also pregnant during the pandemic. And so even though, yes, I have the luxury of working from home, I still have way more responsibility and so much more that I'm doing in life than I was back then. And so being pregnant was real nice back then. I even had a more complicated pregnancy and I was still be like say like, oh pretty good.
That was easier. Yeah.
um so yeah, there's that. But I say that like pregnancy sucks, but also I'm like super blessed and thankful and love this
Yeah.
moment and I'm trying my best. Yeah,
Both
all
things
that.
can be true. Okay.
Yeah. And yeah, it's just I don't know. It's just like there's not enough time to really think about the pregnancy, so it's flying by, which is freaking me out. Because it just felt like a lifetime of pregnancy when I was pregnant with my daughter, my first daughter, and now I'm just like, oh my God, I have like less than 3 months to be ready for this kid. I mean, we're ready, but like mostly there's just like things that I want to do specifically in the realm of like my business that I probably should have done beforehand, like actually setting up a team for myself and being able to let step back in my business for the day-to-day stuff.
Mhm.
And honestly, it's really stressful trying to set all that stuff up. But I know that once I've done this, it's gonna pay off so big when I get back from my maternity leave. Like when I get back from maternity leave, it is over. It is over for everybody else. I'm beyond Oprah. Oh, Oprah's not still a thing. Oh my God. What year
What
is
are you
this?
talking about? Oprah is always a thing. What? Oprah,
I mean,
yeah,
she doesn't have
Oprah
like a
just had
talk show.
she has yeah,
Uh,
she does. She has her own podcast now, and she has
Oh,
like
does
that goes
she?
on live on YouTube. Yeah, she has her own show still. Yeah.
Anyways,
Okay.
point being, I'm gonna be the superstar of virtual assistants out here.
Hey,
That's actually not my goal, but I just can see
hey, there could be
how much
multiple
it's gonna pay
superstars
off
in there, and you could be one
quickly.
of them. Yes, speak on it.
Yeah. And so it's a lot of investment, time and energy investment now, and some financial investments. I'm hiring people so that later on I can do better, have more success, and more funds. So that's what you got to do.
Good, good. So, what has been the experience as far as the doctors in Spain this time around? The whole care of your pregnancy this time around in Spain versus when you were pregnant with Lollipop.
Oh gosh. So because I had so much time in my first pregnancy, I was going to public healthcare and I was going through private healthcare because I didn't know which one was better and I just wanted to cover all my bases. Private healthcare was not better. That is the big twist here. Public
Hmm.
healthcare was definitely a better experience. And so this time I did start off going to public and private appointments. And then I quickly realized I don't have time for that anymore. Like, that's just not an option. And so I dropped the private healthcare and now I just go to public. And yeah, it's good. It's different. And so there are things that likely you're not going to like or understand, or it's going to feel weird because here there's not like a continuity of care in the same sense that there is, at least in the United States. I think Canada is actually set up similar to how it is here based on some YouTubers that I follow. Um, that, but yeah, I just have like just different appointments. So you have a midwife, so you have a midwife, so you have appointments with them. You have the person that does your ultrasounds, and so you have not the person, the facility that does your ultrasounds. You have
Hmm.
appointments with them, and then you have what's called a tocólogo, which I guess is like the obstetrician. You have appointments with them, and basically, and then you like get blood work done, and that's like a whole different facility. And so you go through, you have an appointment with your midwife. The midwife does stay the same uh, as often as possible. It does. You have an appointment with your midwife, and they're just like, everything okay? You know, midwifing, but like light midwifing. Um, and then you get blood work done. They give you an appointment for that or whatever test you need to get done, P test, whatever. And then you get the ultrasound, and then you go to your tocólogo, the obstetrician, and you just sit in their office, and they're like, "Oh, looks like from these results, everything's good, or everything's not good." And then you go about that whole process like every few months. And so I feel like all of that could be centralized somehow, or at least a lot of it could be, but it's just not. And so it's a lot of appointments, uh,
Yeah, I'm
but
figuring.
it's
Yeah,
efficient.
I have my doctor's appointment, and like finally Kayla's actually going with me to a doctor's appointment tomorrow because I just could not find an English speaking doctor that I felt like I could do some conversation with. So anyway, she's going with me tomorrow. But you have to keep your own records with you if you're going through private. You have to. So I figured that out, and I've developed my system now to make sure I have all this information and going to get stuff printed. Yeah, it's a whole thing. Do you mind sharing about that, about the sugar testing or that
The
you've had to
diabetes
take?
test.
Yeah, the diet. You
Yeah.
got the sugar. Yeah. Okay. Share that, please, about your experiences with those, because I never had that problem,
Oh,
but that was years ago.
you
So
never got a diabetes test?
I, no, I did. Yeah, when I was pregnant. Yeah, every time when I was pregnant, but I never had the reactions that you had.
Oh, yeah, my body does not do well with that. So if you don't know, like the diabetes test, gestational diabetes test is pretty standard because it's pretty common to get that. And so to get gestational diabetes. And so they told me in my first pregnancy, they told me, oh, you got to go do this. This was public, no, private. Do this test. And it was just like any other test, like, oh, well, you're getting blood drawn or whatever. And so I go to do the test. And they're like, okay, drink this juice, which is literally just like glucose. So gross. Or sucrose or whatever, one of the oses. And they're like, okay, now you need to sit for an hour. And I'm like, I'm sorry, what? Like, nobody told me that this was going to be an hour long test. Nobody told me anything about what to expect. And so I'm sitting there for an hour and I didn't have my headphones to listen to music, didn't bring my Kindle, anything, which is annoying and things that you would do if you were informed of what the heck was about to happen. Um, Issue with me is that I got really sick. I started feeling I was yeah, I just on both of them. This time and the first time, I started feeling like I was like nervous or something, and then I was just have bubble guts, and then I stood up thinking I need to go to the bathroom, and then I passed out. It happened both times, exact same way. This time, I did tell them before, like I passed out in my last test, so but it was just awful, and I was really irritated just thinking about how I could have prepared for this or like requested that my husband come with me because there's a lot of appointments, so there are things that he doesn't come with me to. Um, that it's not necessary for him to take off of work, but that one is definitely one you want someone with you for.
Hmm.
And it just wasn't communicated. In the first pregnancy, I had to take a second diabetes test, which is 3 hours long, and it's more glucose. And so I got sicker, and they had to take me to like a hospital to like rest, like a hospital bed. They didn't do
Hmm.
anything for me; they just let me rest until I got over it. But
Go sit down
yeah,
somewhere.
the test
Okay.
is not fun.
Yeah.
But apparently, that doesn't happen to everybody. But it does happen often enough that they should mention it. It does happen. Like you'll see people in there that just don't look great.
Stuff. And I think I was in Madrid at the time when because I wasn't able to be there, like, because I was like, maybe I should go, but there was something, I wasn't there and stuff, but, it may have crossed my mind, like, you should be there. I was like, you're not going to be here anyway. So, but you were saying that, like, your husband was going to be with you, but yeah, it had already happened and you had already passed out this time by the time he was able to get to you
Oh yeah, he
because he
was
had to
there
take
for
a lot
this
of, yeah,
one.
yeah.
Yeah, he was there for this one, but the test was also at like 8 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, he had to take my daughter to school first. So he like took her to school and then headed over after. But yeah, by the time he got there, I was already in in like a hospital
On the
bed.
floor passed out and they were already had the fans just waving at you.
Well, they had a chair. They
Okay.
definitely did better this time because I did it with private. I did that test with private last time, and I was like, I'm not doing it again with public because I've already done this and it was not fun.
Hmm.
uh, I'll have both of them draw my blood. I don't care about that, but this was not something to be repeated. But when I did it this time, I did it with public, and I did. They definitely treated me better, and they definitely were prepared for you being sick, like the option that you might get sick, and they had like beds and stuff available for that. So that helped.
Okay. Well, we're excited, super duper excited uh, about the new baby coming, baby number two coming. How has school been for Lollipop? This was her first because here they start the version, I guess, pre-K or whatever at like at 3 years
Mhm.
old. So now that it's been a
Mhm.
few months, how has school been now for Lollipop? Lollipop is my granddaughter. That's her daughter, by the way. I just call her Lollipop. But anyway, so if people are like, "Who the hell is Lollipop?" That's that's
Mhm.
Kayla's daughter, my grandbaby. Okay. So, anyways, how has that transition been now that you've had more experience in the school system versus, when it first started or in daycare?
Yeah. It's actually been great. So last year we had to go through the process of like choosing the school or they make it seem like it's a lottery or something. Like you choose like your top three options and hopefully they put you in one of those schools. But I don't know if it's more intense in some places than it is in others, but the neighborhood that I'm in, it actually not just the neighborhood, but like where our flats are located, there are schools surrounding us on all edges of our block or on all sides of our block. And so it's three elementary schools that we had to choose from. And they're all fantastic. So we put, 1, 2, and 3 and listed the three that were right next to us. And honestly, it wouldn't have mattered where she went. She would have been good to go. But I do feel like the one that my number one choice is the one she got. And I do feel like it is particularly good for us. Like it just feels like the right place for us to be. I feel like they treat us. Um, yeah, I just feel like we're treated the way that I would hope to be treated, and it feels like they care a lot. The other, like one of the other schools is older because there's a neighborhood, like this neighborhood I'm in is pretty new, and there's a neighborhood right next to us that's like old money. And so that school is older, and so I just imagine that some things might be a little different.
Okay.
One of the things, for example, is if your kid's not potty trained, this is 3 years old, if your kid's not potty trained and they have an accident at school, some of the schools will call you and they will wait for you to come to the school to change their diaper. They will not do it themselves because they don't have assistants to
Oh,
be changing diapers all day. And I was nervous about that because my daughter,
I
her
remember.
birthday, she's one of the youngest kids in the class, right? Like there's always going to be a range. And when they're this tiny, that difference in months is huge in their development. And so she was not fully potty trained by the time she started school. She was on her way. Actually, she was doing pretty good, but actually, we went on a vacation that ended like the day she started school, and that messed up her routine. So I had her in a diaper, and the teacher said, just don't put her in a diaper. Just bring her in normal clothes with regular undies, and it'll be fine. And I was like, are you sure? I was very nervous and like very ashamed. And they're like, yeah. And she peed herself like for a week. And then she stopped. She like every day for a week. And then the next week, maybe like 2 or 3 times. And, like now she's fully potty
Yeah.
trained. Um, Kids learn from other kids. And they were prepared to have more children that were going to need their assistance at the beginning of the school year. So they're doing a lot. And then that weaned off. So I don't know. They just really supported us in that. And I just really was so thankful for that because that could have been a nightmare. A nightmare in my situation personally because I live next to schools, I work from home. It would have been fine, but I think about other parents who
Yeah.
like go to a job. And some people go to different towns, or they don't have a car, so they get picked up by like the bus that their company hires to take them to work in these different towns or something. How are they supposed to get back to change their kid's diaper?
Yeah.
um,
I remember that
so
when you were going through like what the expectations were before she started school, and one of them was, she had to be potty trained, and it was like,
yeah,
oh my, okay. It's like, and yeah, they seem to be very accommodating, and that's
yeah,
awesome. That's awesome.
yeah.
We have a couple of questions. Let's see here. So, one, Jess was asking, Yolanda, how far are you from Kayla and the family? Um, it's maybe 15 minutes. Like,
Yeah, maybe
and
20.
yeah, yeah, and like yeah, maybe 20 and stuff, and
From
maybe
door to
like 10
door.
of that. Yeah, because like there's like maybe 5 minutes to walk to the tram, 10 minutes on the tram, then you get off the tram, and like maybe another 3 minutes to walk over or whatever. So yeah, it's
Yeah.
relatively quick. And during the power outage, my dear child was like sent her husband to come and come and get me because it really was weird. That was just a very odd situation. And even though I might be very well equipped for a power outage back in Texas, this one was very different because, it was like levels of information being revealed when we're like the whole country and the country next door. What? So yeah, but Kayla was
Yeah.
like, come on over. So yeah, like her husband was able, my son-in-law was able to come and get me. And we rushed back over, and I was not equipped at all. I didn't bring, she said, because Kayla had told me a list of things to bring, and I was like, okay. She said, bring non-perishables, bring lighters, bring all. And then I came with like a thing of like my cart full of like frozen food. And she's like, what is this? Okay, we'll leave it at
Yeah.
that because her face is saying too much right now.
I didn't say anything. Mind you,
Anyway,
I will say
we were
something.
close.
Mind you, I was trying my very best to like maintain composure in the situation that was freaking me out. Like
Yeah.
I'm thinking we were being attacked by somebody. So this is not like a normal everyday event. And I'm trying to think like how we're gonna survive. We're about to be the next these countries that are just like suffering so much and being attacked. Like that could be us next. And yeah. And I'm maintaining my calm and like trying to keep things chill because I have a kid and you can't freak out when you have a kid or else the kid's gonna freak out.
Yeah.
Ooh. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but as soon as I said that, I hear my daughter like scream at the top of her lungs.
Oh no, I didn't hear anything.
Oh, noise canceling.
Well,
But
all that to
yeah,
say, yes, we
so
live close, but not close in, not too close, but yeah, we live close. Okay.
yeah. But yeah,
But
so
it was
like
scary.
when that was happening, I was just like, okay, I had like my whole like checklist of like, oh, these are the things that we need. This is gonna be good. You know, we're gonna collaborate and get all of our resources together. And I just kind of lost it for half a second when I saw all that those frozen goods when an electricity outage.
See, back in Texas, and this is, and I was thinking Texas. I will say this. I was thinking Texas. So back in Texas, anytime we've had a hurricane or like major, like whatever outages and stuff, we would all like the neighbors. We would come together and put stuff on the pit, and we would cook. We always ate good for days. And so, but you had like coolers and things like that. So there was certain things that you were always ready for in Texas that I still, when packing, I was like, and I heard she had said something like, we're going to go over to a friend's house and cook. So I was like, well, let me just go on and bring all my frozen food. Wasn't
No, I didn't tell you
thinking, didn't,
beforehand. I didn't tell you that
oh,
beforehand.
okay, somewhere in my brain and stuff. Well, anyways, the bottom line is I grabbed a bunch of stuff that was not conducive to what was probably needed at the time. So yeah, thank goodness it was only 5 hours.
Yeah,
And yeah,
thank God.
carrying all that stuff, yeah, and carrying all that stuff back when there was no tram was a challenge for me. But I felt like a homeless person, just like, or unhoused person, just dredging all that stuff back. Thank goodness that the elevators were working again, so I was fine. But yeah. Oh yeah, Christine said. Christine said, I definitely realized I'm not ready for the power to be out for an extended period of time. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's just, yeah, my brain had not, even though there was still concern, just like what Keila was saying, because as we were getting more information and people were like, oh, like all the lights are out in Ireland, and then they were like in Germany, and they're telling all this, and I was like, oh my God, what's going on? But still, and when grabbing stuff, I think at the last minute I was like, well, if we need to be somewhere high ground, my apartment is where we need to be anyways. I was just grabbing stuff.
Oh
I did it.
wow.
There was no rhyme or reason at all. I was just making moves. Okay. That's it. And she said, he's coming. She's like, Richard's coming to get you. And I'm like, okay, then let's go. So, anyways, but we're fine. Thank God for that. And then, so Christina was also asking, how did you know which school is better here, or their website with stats?
Those are good questions of an alpha. Honestly, I keep people like you around because you do research. I knew it was a good school because when I went in, I had a really good vibe about it. And that worked for me. I mean, we visited all of the schools and they did like a presentation and kind of explained like how things work at the schools. And yep, it's literally what I did that based on. I've worked in the school systems here and all of that, and so there's some things that I would like expect, but that was all. I mean, and then also in my area, all the schools are like, or two of the schools are brand new, and one of the schools is like older, but still has a very good reputation, just from like talking to other families. So I guess that would be the research, like talking to other families, and the general consensus is that you're fine at all the schools, like here that you have to choose from out here. So
Okay.
sorry, I can't be
Okay.
more assistant with that part.
I got to put this other question out here because Jess was asking, do you drive and is it difficult to pass the driver's test? So I'm going to start. I'm going to answer this first. No, hell no. I don't want to drive. Okay. I sold my car. Like the day I left Texas, I sold my car, and I have no urge. The transportation, the public transportation system here is absolutely wonderful. In Spain, in Europe, is
Yeah.
absolutely wonderful. So I have no urge. Some people are like, oh, but you'll get a rental car. Yeah, you can get a rental car sometime if you need to. I know plenty of people that do that. That's not my mission. I'm going to Valencia later this month, and I was planning on taking a train, and then I found out about a bus that goes straight from here to Valencia, and it's up like maybe a 4 hour bus ride, and I was like, you can do that, yeah. And
Yeah.
so with that, Kayla, tell us, what has your experience been about driving?
Yeah, I hate driving in general. I also, of course, sold my car when I came here and was totally fine to not drive for the first, what, like 4 years or whatever of me being here. Eventually, I thought I started making like steps to like little steps to like feel more established in Spain. And I felt like one of those is that I need to be able to drive. And so I got my driver's license here. It took, I don't even know how much money I spent on it because it would be like every class that you took was, I had to start from the beginning. Like they didn't let you, like just like validate your license that you already have from the United States. And with good reason, honestly, because I felt like I was starting over. I didn't know what the heck I was doing. I'm driving a stick for the first time, and I'm driving in a place that has a lot of pedestrians. So there's a lot more rules that you have to follow, and they're very stringent with their rules. And so, like, you need to learn from scratch. So you take a written exam first, or they give you like the little book that's actually free, and then you study that. You can do practice tests, and then you take a written exam. It's like I think it's like 10 to 20 questions. I think it was just 10 actually, and I passed that. I think I got 100 on that, or whatever version of that is. Um, and then you have to take the driving test. And in order to take the driving test and pass, you pay to take classes with a driving instructor. I did like I don't even know how many classes I did, but I took the test like 3 times
Okay.
and I failed and failed. And then the pandemic came and I took the test and I passed. And I think that I passed as the pandemic. I think they were just like, yeah, whatever. But I think my main issue with the test was that I would get so stressed out because I was taking this like test where someone was like watching me and it was in Spanish. And so like all of my Spanish just went right out the door as soon as the test was like when he was telling me instructions on where to go, I wasn't able to compute that and like switch gears and everything at the same time. And so on my last try, I just stopped listening to like he would tell me to take this and that road or whatever, and I just drove the way that felt the easiest to go. And I guess that would like he's not here to test my Spanish. He's here to see if I can drive the car. And I did drive the car, just didn't listen to him, the tester. So maybe that's the big clue there is just drive well. Don't listen to the instructor.
And then, but then once you actually got your license, like, your husband does most of the driving anyways. Because I remember
Yeah.
you, I remember I was visiting. It was right after Lollipop was born, and right when I was getting ready to leave, Richard got COVID. Like we were all in the house, and he was the
Mm.
only one that got COVID, and he was down for the count. And so you had to do a lot of driving with the baby. I remember you were nervous about it, and then you felt accomplished because you were like, I've been driving. I've gone to the store now with a baby by myself because
Mhm.
because your husband was sick and all that, and that was a big. I'm sorry, I'm looking at Aileen's responses. So she was like, "No and hell no." And also to say, I interviewed Cece, and she was living in Portugal, and now she lives in, I forgot what part of, some part, maybe in Valencia right now. But
Mhm.
she actually has a car. She bought a car while here, and she
Yes.
drives like from Spain to Portugal all the time. Well, she's
Yeah.
done it a few times. Yeah. So, and I don't think
I
that she
think that's where
necessarily had
cars
to get her, like, so you can still use your U.S. driver's license to rent a car. I do know that much, but I don't know,
how
like,
long has she been here?
I can't no, she's only been here in Spain, like, maybe 2, no, like 6 months now. I think she had just moved to Spain in
Oh,
December.
okay.
Yeah.
So the rule is something like 6 months. For 6 months or something, you can use your American driver's license. But also, rental companies might let you rent the car with it, but that doesn't mean that you're not going to get a ticket if you get pulled over with an American
Okay.
license and it's been longer than 6 months that you've been here. So,
Okay. Got you.
So there's some things you can get away with, but I feel like the main reason that having a car is valuable here in Spain is to travel from one place to another. Like, yeah, when we go to like our little trips to this and that town, because not every place is reachable, easily reachable by public transport. And so we like to take, well, a lot of the places that we like to go. So I like to go hiking, be in nature and mountains and things like that. And the buses out there, the buses to these places are non-existent for a lot of them. So that's when cars come in handy.
Okay. Okay. So before we get back onto the VA, I also wanted to ask you because everybody was like so like well, I've had a lot of people come to me like, I saw your daughter was talking about the pole dancing.
Mhm.
So how was the pole dancing going? When are you still doing it? Are you gonna pick it back up soon? What other fun exercise or ways of exercising have you found to keep your body, I guess, feeling good, with whatever exercise that you're doing, especially while you're pregnant right now?
Yeah, pole dancing is like my favorite thing. But yeah, I did it for the first 20 weeks of my pregnancy and it was going great. But eventually I started to feel it weighing on my body. Like it just was like after I did pole dancing, even I would gradually do less intense tricks. I stopped going upside down as much, which I actually don't think that that was a problem. I think maybe that was more like I'm afraid to go upside down, but the things I was switching it out for, I think caused a lot more pain for my body,
Hmm.
because it was like so it was dancing that I was doing instead of doing like pole tricks. And with the dancing, you're doing things like squats in like a wide leg position or like rolling on the floor in different ways. And I had what do they call it? Pelvic floor
Pelvic floor.
pain out of this world. Like I couldn't walk for like a day or two. And I was just like, okay, I think I need to stop doing pole. And so I kind of like just slowed down. I would do some other stuff. But I did my maternity. I'm just thinking, where are my pictures? I'm sure she'll get them to me soon. But I did my maternity shoot, pole maternity shoot. And so when I did that, I did go upside down for the first time in like a month. And I realized this isn't this doesn't feel so bad. And so I'm thinking maybe I should just do full tricks again, and that will make it easier. But in reality, I was still in pain the next day, just not as much. Anyways, so yeah, for 20 weeks of my pregnancy, I was able to do pole and move in different ways. I had to adjust, and it was really fun to find these different ways of movement outside of just doing like hard pole tricks. But then it stopped being fun. Like it
Yeah.
stopped being like something where I walked away and I felt rejuvenated and excited and refreshed. And it started becoming something where I was just like exhausted mentally as well as physically from doing. And so I stopped because
Yeah, you have to
nobody's
listen to
paying
your
me for
body.
this.
Yeah. Yeah. And that was the
So
big thing. It's like everybody has to listen to their body. It's like hopefully you're listening to your body, no matter, if you're pregnant or not, listen to your body. Yeah, and stuff and
yeah,
just embrace,
absolutely.
with every stage that you're in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think a lot of people feel the need to like what normal, right? People compare themselves with other people, and on Instagram, there's this and that person who's 9 months pregnant and they're still pole dancing, and I'm like, I just don't get on Instagram anymore. Mostly because my Instagram, I mean, I have my professional Instagram, but my personal Instagram, all it was pole. Like that's all. Like if you look at my feed,
Mhm.
it's only pole. So it's my feed as well. Like for what I see, is all pole, and it's just like that doesn't make me feel like super happy to look at because I'm just like it kind of has me in a state of like I can't wait to not be pregnant so I can hurry up and get back to pole, and I don't really that's not valuable to me right now. So I've kind of just like removed myself from that for now. I am totally looking forward to getting back into it when it's time, but I'm gonna take my time and listen to my body and heal all the parts of my body that I need to heal before I start doing crazy
Yeah.
tricks on a pole and then go
Well,
from
yeah.
there.
Okay. So you have all this going on. You have your VA, and what's happened recently is as people have heard more and more about what you do as a virtual assistant and that you have your own business, they have asked you for insight, for information about how to do it, how to get started, what are the steps. And you have actually met up with some wonderful women within, especially like I know within the Exodus Summit community, you've like met up with a couple of
Mhm.
women that you've been able to help and guide them through what that journey might look like for them to build their own VA business. And so, what have you been
Yeah.
working on? How is that going? What are you hoping to um, your offering as far as like you wanting like if people want to spend some time with you and talk to you about a VA business, what does that possibility look like? I went a long way around just now, but yeah, y'all know me. Okay.
Yeah, I feel like I do a lot of things unintentionally. Like I don't plan out a lot of parts of my life, but then things just pop up. Like I very much feel I'm a little woo woo about like I feel like the universe kind of brings to you what you're supposed to be doing, and it's been very true for me up to this point. And I did another interview like this. Well, I don't know if it was with you or with someone else, but I've done a couple of these because, like I said, I like to share my story to see if in case it's helpful. Um, but yeah, from that, I ended up getting people who were interested in working with me, and of course, time is money. So in the situation that I can't just like donate my time, I've decided to make that a little business or whatever, So I
Mm.
offer 90-minute coaching sessions. And I really just work with people to figure out what their objectives are because not everybody's looking to do the same thing. Some people might just need a client. They might want to work with small business. They might want to work with big businesses. There's all kinds of different things. Some
Hmm.
people you can use being a virtual assistant as a way to train yourself into a corporate job. I do think that that is very
Wow.
much a possibility because for a lot of these corporate jobs, especially when you're remote, like it's hard to find a remote job as a project manager for a big corporate company that's willing to choose you who has no
Hmm.
experience. So where do you go? Like how do you develop your career if you're not available for in-person jobs in the United States and internships and all these opportunities? You can train yourself, put yourself through management university, um, and then go from there. So it's just about customizing whatever their goal is, what they see as their future, and figuring out how to do that. A lot of the people that I'm working with, they are folks who are wanting to move to a different country, or they have moved to a different country and they need help with this piece that I don't feel like a lot of people talk about career building as an expat. I feel like that's a topic that we need to talk about more. It's not happening enough.
Hmm. I was going to ask you when before they get ready to meet with you for this consultation at this time, I guess they call it like a discovery call. Is there any homework that you have uh, your um, your attendees do beforehand? It's like maybe a prep for the meeting with you.
So for the first consultation, it's actually not a discovery call. So the discovery call is like, what are your needs? This is what I can offer you. But this
Okay.
is an actual coaching session.
Okay.
Um, and in this session, the only thing that I would suggest that you bring is if you have questions, then bring those to me, right? Have those written down because those are really valuable. Um, but other than that, there's not a lot of homework for the first one. There is homework if you continue on to do an actual lesson, do actual sessions with me to get you to that first client. Because if there's not homework, how are you going? Who's going to get you there?
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
not
You have
your
to have
assistant.
assignments.
I am,
Yeah.
yeah, I am your coach. So if your coach is not coaching you to do something, then it ain't a coach. But yeah, the first session is really just to clarify and give you like kind of a blueprint of what you can do. And then the sessions after that would be to get you all the way there, to handhold you to be the person that you are accountable to make sure that it's all happening and give you guidance when you're stuck.
Okay. Do you for yourself keep anything? Because I know well, I know a lot of people still do vision boards and things like that. Do you have like routines or vision boards or mantras for yourself that keeps you motivated and keeps you focused on your business And your
On my
daily effort?
screensaver on my laptop or my computer is my vision board.
Okay.
So
Never paid
there's
attention to
that.
that anymore. So
Yeah,
you
so
it's always
I
that inspiration is right there.
yeah, it's there. Every time I come to work, I know exactly what I'm doing this for. It's right there. So, so I have that, and I just do it on Canva, and I have a couple of pictures. Like I said, I'm not like a super. Some people are super creative. Some of these vision boards, I don't. I think it's just like about what works for your brain, right? Like
Mhm.
you're supposed to see a vision board, and it should incite some sort of emotion, mostly motivation in you. And for me, mine is 7 pictures, and it very clearly outlines what I want, and that is all I need. I'm a minimalist, so that works for me. These ones that have all the things and all the words, ooh, I don't understand what it means. Don't Your vision board does not need to look like someone else's. Don't compare and contrast to other people. Just do what makes sense for you to remind yourself of why you're doing the work.
Okay. Okay. Well, this has been great. I have a couple more. Let's see here. Jess was asking, thank you. And again, if anybody else has questions before we go, please do put a Q in there and get the questions out here. This is some great insight
Mhm.
here. And Jess, thank you so much. You have definitely been very active and really appreciate all the
Good.
questions. This is great. I love, yeah, we like to have that activity going on where we're all sharing and gaining knowledge and sharing our insight. She says, did you
Absolutely.
have your U.S. degree recognized in Spain? No.
No, I didn't because I'm not even doing anything with my degree now. So,
but when you
uh,
but in order for you to that's okay, so this is what's weird, because in order for you to teach here, like to be a teaching assistant, you have to bring your degree like when you first
yeah.
came, but then
So
that's as far as it goes.
yeah. So okay. Well, so there's two parts. That's two different questions. Then, so
Okay.
for the first part, I got a degree in culinary arts, and then I got a degree in nutrition and in Spanish. I'm a virtual assistant. So, there's a lot of transferable skills between that and the job experience I had, and I've been trying to start businesses for it as long as I can remember. Like I've always had a business mindset. All of that has benefited me in my job now, but it wasn't necessary. I went down a long journey of trying to figure out which way I was going to go. And so there were times where I considered getting my degree validated, like even went to the office and got the paperwork and everything. But that was when I thought I was going to be a teacher. And I realized I really don't want to be a teacher. Like, these kids are driving me crazy. Uh,
Like enough of
it's like
that.
I'm either a teacher or have kids. I can't do both. Cannot do both. um, and so, yeah, so I didn't do that. And then in regards to the program is reaching out to schools in the United States or in Australia or Canada or whatever. And so for these programs to be a language assistant, it's like an internship situation, and they want you to have a degree from the country that you're from. But that's not the same as getting a job here. Like, I mean, I'm curious about the person who has done this program for the longest, but it is always a stepping stone. Generally speaking, it's a stepping stone until
Mhm.
you either establish something here or on to somewhere else.
Okay. Okay. Well, I'm trying to think. I'm going down my questions here just to make sure that well, yes, I guess the big question that I still wanted to ask was, do you feel like there's going to be a bigger challenge to balancing, being a mom now to be upcoming mom of two and running the business, and that's why you're trying to make sure that you have everything in place now? What do you see as some of the possible challenges that when two babies are in the mix and a business
Yeah.
in Spain?
Honestly, I have the same thing happened to me when I was pregnant with my first daughter, that I have a very hard time seeing anything beyond the birth. Like I can imagine birth, I can imagine, being more pregnant or whatever, but like actually like knowing my life as a mom of one or knowing my life as a mom of two is feels I feel like it's just blank. I can't really see much there. But logically, two kids is going to be more to balance than one.
Yeah.
So absolutely, it's going to be a challenge. But I don't know if it's gonna. I mean, we'll see how it goes. But I think that it's like you're in the situation and there's nothing you can do, and or there's nothing that you can stop. You can't stop that situation from being the situation you don't want to, and so you just do the thing. And so I don't really think like I'm gonna be like suffering more or anything like that because of it. I think that I'm gonna have to think differently and figure out solutions, which is exactly what I did once I had my first daughter, right? I was floating by on my 700 euros a month in the private classes I had, and then on the unemployment, and that was fine. But then once I had a kid, I had different priorities, and I realized like the urgency that there is in establishing something more official than that. So I did it
Yeah.
then. I've done it before. I can do it again.
Yeah.
That's my
And also
mantra.
I'm here. I'm here. Yeah. Also, yeah, I'm here. Yeah. Okay. So
Oh yeah,
she's like, oh yeah,
there's
yeah,
that
that
too.
too. Yeah. I mean, I will not. Again, we have our separate space and separate. Like I'm not like at. I won't be at their house. Somebody asked me, um, when Keilas baby, are you going to go and stay with them? For the first month or two, and I was like, no. I mean,
You
I
already
live
live
like
here.
50, yeah, I live in Zaragoza. I'm like 15 minutes away. It's like no, I don't see any reason that I need to actually be there, staying there for a month or whatever. But also, there are things
Mhm.
that I'm doing that like we were talking, like I just got their stroller. They just got a new stroller, and so I took the old stroller um that I'm going to keep, that I have here at my place. So if I have both of them, or yeah, if I have the babies, if I have both my grandchildren, I can like get around with that. um I'm getting the mat. I'm getting like, there's some things that are going to be at my house that's going to make it easy for them to be at my house, especially when the youngest one gets a little older. Of course, like the first month or
Yeah.
two, she'll be at home, and I'll be over there if I need to go to your house,
Mhm.
and you guys need to get out, then I can do that if I'm around. She did let me know when she told me that she was pregnant back in December. That was when she told me, like, if you have any plans, you just can't be gone during this time when the baby comes. So, with all the love, and I get it. And I'm so honored and thankful to be able to be here for this journey. Um, but also, she was like, yeah, you need to make sure that you're around. Okay.
Of course. Like, what would be the point of you living here if you're not here for like the biggest moments?
Yes, I guess. Yeah.
Like
Okay.
your
Yeah.
grandkid getting here.
But then the other day when we were talking about me going to Prague, like the possibility of me going to Prague, and you were like, "Oh, you can go at the end of June or whatever," and I was like, "No, I can't." She's like, "Well, baby's not due until like sometime in July." I was like, "I'm not going to take a chance on being in Prague, and the baby decides to come like 3 weeks early. I don't know. I was like, nope. I have some travel that I'm planning before, but it will not be close to the within 30 days of the due date. No, I don't want to chance that.
Well, I might be traveling at the end of June, so
Huh? You said you're not, or you are?
I said I might be traveling at the end of June, so I didn't see a problem with you doing it.
Oh, okay,
Not too far,
okay,
but yeah, I ain't going too far.
and stuff. But
I,
yes,
I wanted to go to the Kendrick Lamar concert, and I was really trying to make that happen, but he is just making it hard for me because concerts in the U.S. were actually like now. I think they started like right at the beginning of my third trimester, and so I was like, oh, I just don't know if I don't even know if they'll let me fly that far, that pregnant. And then I was just like, that's a long flight in my third trimester. So I was just like, okay, gonna be responsible and not do that. And then he announced his concerts here in Europe, and I was like, yes, it's happening. But they're like the ones that were for places that I would likely go right at the due date. And so
yeah, like the one in
I'm like, I mean,
Barcelona.
if it's
Yeah,
like a week before the due date, I could probably make it. Like
she was really
Barcelona.
considering it.
I could get to Barcelona and back. It's fine. But yeah, I decided not to or whatever. But
So
yeah.
Jess was asking, do we have the name? So I don't say the grandbaby that's here, my lollipop. I don't say her name. So yeah, we have a
Oh,
name. Well, excuse me, she has a name. I'm not saying it. Okay, it's a grandbaby.
I don't think I have said do I think like unintentionally I haven't said my daughter's name and I don't really I'm like do I want to keep that a secret? Or I don't think I have a problem saying her name. I just didn't realize that I was doing that until now.
Well, you
You
know what?
said it.
I never say. So my oldest granddaughter, the one that I call her Lollipop. That's what everybody knows. It's my
Yeah,
Lollipop. And my the grandbaby that's coming will be Lumi. So yeah, that's the nickname. I
with an M.
Lumi.
Oh, I thought you said loony. I was like, absolutely not.
No, no, no.
That's unfair.
Before I finally, when I tell you guys, I was doing research on the proper nickname for grandbaby number two. It was a whole chat GPT helped me find the perfect nickname for grandbaby number two. Yes. Um, but before I came up with the nickname for grandbaby number two, I just called her Nubbin. Newbie? Nubbin. I called her little Nubbin. Is that what I was calling her?
It's like
Norby. I
Wilbur
was calling her
sometimes.
Norby.
Norby.
Yeah. And she
Yes.
would just kind of cringe every time, like, why are you calling this being in my body Norby? It just kind of came out. But yeah, so her nickname is Lumi. And so yeah,
Yeah,
that's
so like the topic of like privacy for kids, I just don't really know how to navigate that. If anybody has some opinions on that, let me know. I'm curious. But yeah, I try my best to like keep my kid like give some sort of privacy and but I'm also not like someone who's like freaking out. Like my social media manager just recently posted uh, a a reel or whatever, and it's with like clips that were older from before I really thought much about this, that I had just in my folder that I had shared with her, and it
yeah.
shows my daughter's face, and I wasn't like freaking out about it. Like I generally don't post a lot of stuff with her face showing,
But on
but
this
I'm
thumbnail,
also
you see the little girl. I put a little face over
yeah,
my granddaughter's
that was
face.
cute. But I also can't like I don't know. People have like strong opinions about it. Some people have no opinions about it, or like that's all just stupid. But there's like a reality of like things that you should consider, or I for me, I think it's more that I want to wait until she's able to decide where
Yeah.
her face
It
is,
is a girl. Okay. Yeah, Jess was like, I just want to know if it's a girl or boy. It's a girl. We can't. We'll say that. Yeah,
Oh,
it's a
did I
girl.
not see that? Oh yeah. They're
Yeah.
both girls. Yeah.
Yes. Two girls. Yes.
So maybe I'll think about that. And if you see like if you start following me on YouTube or Instagram, you start seeing my kids' faces, like I'll probably post a picture when my daughter's born because I did that.
Yeah. And she's given me permission to because I don't post like on my regular social media or on on YouTube, no. But she was like, if you want to post something, with my granddaughter, in the stories because it disappears after 24 hours, she's like, that's fine. I just
Yeah.
haven't. I just haven't
Yeah.
and stuff. So yeah, I'm having a hard enough time
Actually,
posting just regular reels and stuff. So yeah, I'm like, oh, okay, I want to make sure that make sure I don't accidentally click reels and not stories or have something like with her face just out there forever. So yeah, even though you can delete it,
yeah.
but yeah.
Quite
Anyways,
honestly, I think it's a little bit of laziness on my part. Like I feel like there's some research that I could do about like the reasons behind not wanting to put your kid's face on the internet and stuff. And like we've already established, I don't do research unless I'm being paid for it. But my feeling and vibe are that I should give her some privacy and and then like I can still share like cute moments or whatever with her and
yeah,
in creative ways. So
yeah, and stuff. Like I have, like we have, like I know I have like some pictures from her birthday where we just both had on those silly glasses or whatever. I'm like, I'm sure that's fine, but
mhm.
yeah, it's nothing intentional. But yeah, well, this has been fun. Do you have
Yep.
anything else that you feel like I forgot to ask you about or inquire about, or anything else you want to share?
I feel like we've gone through my whole life, or my whole Spanish life at least. Uh, yeah, so lots of things changing over here. Um, Definitely follow me I'm on TikTok now, thanks to my social media manager, and
Oh my gosh, I
Instagram.
need to do TikTok.
I'm
Okay.
the Elite VA on both of them. I think TikTok is like the underscore elite underscore VA. And then my Instagram is the dot elite VA, I think.
Okay,
Uh,
I just have your Instagram on the description. But
okay.
yes, so all of her contact information is on there. I'm sorry, go ahead. I just realized I cut you off. Go ahead.
Oh, no, so definitely and my YouTube, because now that I have a social media manager, I think I promised on like every interview I've done that I'm gonna start posting more, but I'm actually gonna start posting more. And my YouTube is probably the most chaotic place that you can find me because it's called Mompreneur Diaries, but it is literally just like me, like whatever. So it'll be, yeah, virtual assistant stuff, and I want to put some more. I really want to start focusing on putting like training videos, like videos that teach you how to do certain skills as a virtual assistant on there. But it's also going to be me doing pole when I get back into it, or my journey. I'm excited to actually film my journey from like postpartum to getting back to where I was in pole and then beyond and all of that. So,
Mhm.
and then whatever else comes to my mind. So that's where the chaos lives. Um, and then you've got like all the advice that you can think of for getting more information about starting your virtual assistant career on TikTok and on Instagram. So you can
Okay.
find me in all these places. You can book a session with me if you're ready to get started and do this thing for real. You don't have to be planning to move abroad in order to do it, but that's just kind of been my jam, so that I can help anybody start their virtual assistant business for sure. So you can
Okay.
find me everywhere.
Okay, well, I just put again, all of our information is in the description. I did just put this also in the comments right now. Also, just FYI, yes, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and also, yes, I do have the group, the Facebook group. Jess, you need to join this group, by the way, the Black and Zaragoza Facebook group. Yes, and I'm going to put that. Here you go. So please do join that group. I've been it's been pretty busy in April, so I'm readjusting stuff. But yeah, I do post in there. I share different things. If you wanted to chat with me or get some more information, I encourage you to go there and join the group. Okay. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you for just being a part of this community, and I do appreciate all your support. Keila, hold on.